Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got your AEW Full Gear review. Little programming note. Obviously, we did not do the Friday night SmackDown review. Larson, I'm assuming by tomorrow you'll be kind of caught up with what was going on the SmackDown.
Well, I caught up with the story beats just via social media over the weekend. I'll try my best to watch what I can before we do the Raw review tomorrow. But obviously, I think a lot of those major story beats are going to play out on Raw as well. Primarily Punk being the fifth man, brother.
Fifth man, brother. So yeah, we'll talk about all the WWE stuff. We'll catch you up on the SmackDown along with our Raw review tomorrow. But today we're talking AEW Full Gear is in the books. It brought the boom, at least in the pre-show, because that crowd is really into that match. We're going to talk about that match as well, because during the pre-show here at Going in Raw, you caught up on that one as well.
Indeed.
Yeah. But let's talk about the major story beats there at Full Gear. I guess I'll just ask you, because we haven't really connected on it since you were gone for the weekend. What was your take on Full Gear in general and the major story with the world title and Mox and all that?
You know, I thought it was a show kind of in some respects two halves. I thought the first half of it, in terms of the in-ring aspect, was probably the better half of it. Again, sometimes AEW, they Tony Khan, don't exactly lay out the show in a way that builds momentum towards the end.
Sure.
And not to say there wasn't some quality matches in the second half of the show. I thought there was some good ones. But I thought the first half of the show, from an in-ring perspective, was just, you know, you had MJF and Roderick Strong was really good. Ospreay and Fletcher, awesome.
Yeah.
Mercedes and Statlander, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, the better matches were in the first half of the show. But anyways, as it relates to the world title picture, Orange Cassidy, out. He lost. So we knew Darby was in the picture. He'd probably be the one that beats Mox for it. But then we had Hangman, Adam Page, coming to the equation. Apparently he's made a pact with Christian that if he helps Christian get that title, he gets first crack at it. So he was there to help Christian. Christian comes to cash in. He is thwarted by Switchblade, Jay White. And then Jay White chases Death Riders to the backstage area. They're about to get the truck. Darby comes plowing through with a car, rams into truck. So then Death Riders have to abscond with somebody's rental car, I'm sure, and to make their getaway while Darby screams, blood coming down his face. Let's finish this, Mox. Let's finish this. So I don't know if obviously Darby is in the title picture. Christian could insert himself in the title picture at any second, because he's got that contract. Now, I guess the question is Jay White going to be a potential title defense for Mox prior to dropping the belt to Darby? Is Hangman going to get involved as well, potentially? That I don't know, because we don't know the time frame in which Darby's going to beat Mox for it, if he's going to beat Mox for it.
That's what I like about the ending. You know, obviously there's been it's been a very, I guess, polarizing finish there. What the main hot take that I got, that I put in a thumbnail in my Wrestle Juice video about it, was somebody had said, why is it there was a go home angle on a pay-per-view, which I thought was pretty funny, but I think that it served to set up what to expect. I thought also the main event, the finish to the main event, set up what to expect as well. And it's reminiscent, not that, and I made this point as well over there, but not that the Bloodline invented overbooked protected finishes for heels using factions, but this finish reminded me quite a bit of Roman's Bloodline match finishes, where you'd get, a faction coming down, another faction thwarting them, one solo member of the faction in hiding, laying in wait, either a ref bump or ref distraction. The bad guy kicks out of everything. In this case, Mox kicking out of the shot to the head with the title attaché case. And then ending up winning because, his faction was, which kind of surprised me, because I kind of felt that this was going to be Mox kind of destroying and demoralizing Orange Cassidy. And that would be the story, so that when people step up, it's like, oh God, this is scary business here. Instead they went more of a OG bloodline type way. And I thought that was interesting. And I do feel like what you're saying, regardless of the timeline, because I feel like this isn't going to be a Roman length reign, but it is going to be a significantly long reign with everybody that we just saw being your next probably 4 pay-per-views, or at the very least, we've got our lineup of special themed dynamites and pay-per-views. I think that, yes, we're going to get Hangman. And I think that Mox's, the look on his face was, hey, this is kind of intriguing because you're kind of what I'm talking about, but you're also unhinged, with the ultra violence with Hangman Adam Page. You got Jay White, I think, who can always kind of be inserted into that main event role, even though we know he's not going to win. And you've got Christian with the contract. So I do think that you've got your next lineup and that's one thing that I liked about the angle, is that it finally opened up the damn thing.
Yeah.
For a whole other cast of characters. And then you still in waiting, you've got Swerve to get past Bobby Lashley. Of course, Swerve lost to Lashley. I expect that to continue as well. And so, yeah, you've got finally the Mox World Order situation has opened up to a new cast of characters. Now we get to see what his take is on Hangman. Does Hangman fall into the Mox thesis of whatever it is? You guys are too soft, or whatever the situation is.
Mid-Carter, who's the same spot you were 5 years ago. That's
right.
That's
which
lost.
In the case of Hangman Adam Page,
Doesn't
he lost in his match against Jay White.
But he's a former champion. He's made event pay-per-view since then. Stuff.
Right. Exactly. I don't know if that falls into.
He lost the title. So
yeah. So that's one thing that I like about it, is that whether or not they actually have a plan, what we saw feels like they kind of do. And hopefully they can see that through if there is a plan there.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not a situation where they're just throwing a bunch of stuff in a storyline and seeing how it plays out. Maybe it's more of a concept, if you will, as opposed to a plan.
Which would be which honestly, like, if they gotta get it. I hope they have a damn plan.
I hope so too, because, well, let's dovetail the Mox stuff with the Daniel Garcia stuff, because commentary mentioned Garcia's name, saying if he won the TNT title, which he did, beat Jack Perry, which he did, then he would at that point stepped up, reached a new level, and therefore maybe be a contender for Mox as well. In terms of the story of Mox, if you want to use the word inspiring, mid-card talent to elevate themselves, was Garcia's win satisfying in that respect, or did it kind of feel like maybe it's a little more adversity might have been called for before he got that win? Your
I don't know, prediction, your thoughts on that, if I recall going into it, was Garcia needs to learn how to be the bad guy, or he needs to learn how to get the killer instinct, and that's what Jack Perry is trying to do.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, I was kind of waffling. We both went low confidence points on this. And I think for me, it was because sometimes they do that story beat within the context of the match.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you do something as big as strap a guy to a hood of the car and then take him to a warehouse to like torture him or whatever the situation is, I kind of feel like you're on the verge of a blow off match, because like, what are you going to do after that?
Yeah.
And so at the very least, we got the title change here, whether or not they're going to have another match, a rematch, whatever, I don't know. But I think similar in the vein of Private Party, like we thought that Private Party could have won that first match against the Young Bucks, and they ended up getting a rematch and they won it there.
Yeah.
And in this case, they pulled the trigger on that first match. Again, man, to me, logic dictates that Garcia joins the Mox crew. Private Party joins the Mox crew. And I think that it wouldn't be a terrible idea for Mox's crew to expand their ranks. If part of this is obviously NWO inspired, then I think that's something that they should at least consider.
Yeah.
But I guess, if they want Garcia to be a good guy, but like, hey, he put the inspiration, he lit the fire under their asses, and look at them now.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the adversity thing, Again, it's the kind of thing, and you and I know we've had this kind of conversation before regarding characters who, should there be? I think the whole Cody thing, you know, there's been adversity, maybe not necessarily within the context of this particular feud, but you can extrapolate out to the MJF stuff and going back before that. It's been building to this moment. So I think it's earned for Garcia. Where that leaves him, and again, as he said in his commentary, does this leave him to be now a challenger to Mox? Certainly he's not going to be the guy, but does this leave him as a guy that could potentially take on Mox? Garcia says, hey, you know what? You were right, but I'm not finished. Now I want a piece of you. Yeah. And then he'll fucking lose that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I didn't necessarily have an issue with the finish or how it was constructed because it was Garcia having to fight from underneath and hit Jack Perry with 2 pile drivers, which I know in the WWE universe is this huge thing. In AEW, you hit someone with the tombstone on the ring steps and beat him. But anyways,
what'd you think of like the finish of the? I'm still kind of torn. Like I'm not a Jack Perry hater like a lot of people are.
Yeah,
but the whole like sacrifice me thing.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of that. You took the time to craft this title, to mod it. It looks great. Do what you can to keep it.
Yeah, I know. Because I guess I don't know what. Because we don't know what the whole, hey, the sacrifice thing, what it's going to lead to per se,
He's been doing it for a while now.
I know, and it just seems like more of a concept as opposed to a plan in terms of, all right, this is where it's going to take the character.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And if it's just an idea, well, I mean, heck, he didn't really do the whole sacrifice thing. Well, he tried to use that to coax Garcia to get himself DQ'd.
Yeah.
And then later on, he more or less like, all right, just beat me already. That's kind of what it feels like with Jack Perry. Instead of I'm going to sacrifice myself for some sort of larger good, well, you got me, just beat me already,
Yeah. It's like when I try a 3-pointer shot and it does a long rebound, and I'm like, I don't want to chase that. Just shoot the damn ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when at the end, you're up 19-17. I'm like, just do it, and then you get the game winner.
But then I tend to brick it when that's the case, Steve. So in the end, it's a winning strategy for you.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah. So, anyways, getting back to the main event angle, who do you see? Let's prognosticate. Who do you see as Mox's the next one up?
So next pay-per-view is World's End, right?
World's End, I think. Yeah.
I mean, I guess based on the name and alone, you could easily say, well, that's where Darby's going to win, and thus end Mox's world title reign, but at the same time, that's really soon. That's in a month.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if they did it. Yeah, this seems like a much larger angle. At this point, this seems larger.
So I would be shocked if it's Jay White at World's End, and then probably Darby at Revolution. Because that'll be early March, I think they announced. It's like the first weekend of March or something like that.
You think we just go straight up like one guy and then Darby? You don't think it'd be longer than that?
Well, because I don't think, obviously Christian's not going to go to Mox and be like, oh, I'm cashing in on you one-on-one straight up. He's not doing that. He's looking for the opportunistic win, so I don't think he's going to be a player in terms of facing Mox in a match, like a pre-booked match that's built towards. And part of me wonders if Hangman is going to be used predominantly as kind of like a utility player in this whole story to facilitate some story beat as opposed to maybe being a challenger himself.
Okay. I kind of know what you're talking about, but in a very vague sense.
Obviously Christian's using him to get what he wants. And I mean, we all know why Hangman has such a drive to be world champion. Not a mystery.
Yeah.
And since he hasn't earned a title opportunity on his own, maybe he has some sort of match. Maybe Hangman and Christian come to some sort of agreement, which is, obviously Hangman's already told Christian, I'll help you get your title if I get the first shot. Well, maybe there's some reciprocation there where Hangman goes to Christian, be like, hey, if you help me win, it doesn't really benefit Christian much. So I don't know why you do it, but if you help me win, beat Mox or beat Jay White to get a title opportunity, I'll do something else for you in addition to help you win the title if I don't win or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The plan isn't clear. Hopefully there is one though.
Yeah,
That's
the hope.
honestly, I do think that is such a big. That's why people find AEW to be such an easy target. I mean, look, people are always going to have their disingenuous takes, but one of the honest to God real critiques is they set shit up and they don't pay it off, and that can create some pretty extreme frustration. It's like, why would people get emotionally invested in something when they set something up and then it's like they just sort of drop it? Characters shift motivations on a dime. Characters seem interested in one thing and then completely forget about that the next week. And I think that's at the core of a lot of frustration for fans who want to get into it.
Well, and also sometimes when they set stuff up, rather than doing it gradually, bit by bit, it's all at once.
Or it's way too long. It's either one or the other.
Yeah. And so, like, the finish to Full Gear, it's intriguing in the respect that, we got some additional players getting involved in the world title picture, which needed to expand its scope. Like, this whole story should be expanding its scope if they want to be the monumental type story that I think they want to.
Yeah.
But doing, potentially introducing 2 new title contenders into the picture in one segment.
Oh, two.
When it is already kind of
4 at this point. We've got Christian, Jay White, Hangman, and Darby all in one.
Well, I mean, Darby's already, he's already involved with Mox. That's what I mean. It's kind of 2 additional ones in.
Oh, I feel you. Okay, yeah.
In Paige and Jay White, because Christian's already, made some efforts to cash in on Mox.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then so now you have to kind of like figure it all out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But if a situation where it was more evenly paced, maybe it would have made it wouldn't feel potentially kind of
end of Nitro-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, let's throw a bunch of new ingredients into the mix and see how it plays out,
Mm-hmm, yeah. Lots more to talk about on Full Gear, but first up, dude, let's talk about the sponsor of today's show.
Let's do it. This episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Steve, I don't say this enough. But I got to send some appreciation your way, so thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
See, this time of year is all about gratitude, so I want to extend my thanks to you and to somebody else.
Oh.
Guess who? Me.
Oh, I thought it was going to be me again. You. Okay, cool. Right on, yeah. No, you make a good point, though, man. We probably don't take the time to thank the people in our lives enough, and that includes ourselves.
Yeah, there was a period in my mid-20s where I definitely was not appreciating myself. I was dealing with severe anxiety. Because of it, my life was pretty much on hold while I tried to navigate through it all. Eventually, I realized that I had to go to therapy. Therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to cope with my anxiety and allowed me to better appreciate myself.
And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is entirely online and is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
That was a weird
noise. You want to talk the boom, Steve?
Yeah, man. So, like, for the first time in a very long time, you and I actually did watch at least one of the matches. I probably watched the entire pre-show because I was doing the live stream thing of it. But yeah, what'd you think of the Costco guys? Did the big boom AJ bring the boom or a doom, Larson?
No, I thought he did, man. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's a former wrestler. You can tell. He
said wrestling's in my blood at the post show.
Yeah, he knows how to work the crowd.
Yeah.
He knows how to work the match. He was telling the story. He was selling.
Yeah.
He was convincing, delivering his moves.
Dude, they went 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They went 10 minutes. I thought this was awesome because on one hand, okay, so like I do sometimes when you talk about, and this is when you talk about separating the art from the artist, right? I don't know if you can consider this Costco stuff art necessarily, but that shit's subjective as hell, man. From all accounts, the dude seems like a good guy. You know, he's not exploitative. He's protective of his kids within the context of doing content, which can be really tricky ground. I love this for him as long as he's not a scumbag. If he's a scumbag, then I hate it for him. But the guy's a good guy. He tried out his dream 20 years ago. Didn't work out in terms of like making it.
Yeah.
And he's trying it again as a family guy. It's weird. It's incredibly cringy trying to watch this Costco stuff, but it definitely has its audience because they get like millions of views. And to see somebody get the kind of reaction, because, dude, I'll be honest, with very few exception, this crowd was into this situation, this story, program, character, whatever, more than at least half the stuff on the main card.
Yeah.
Because it reflects the absurdity and fun that pro wrestling can be. There's no baggage attached to this stuff. It's just goofy ass fun. They put on a serviceable match with a fun finish where, what's his name? Big Justice.
Yeah.
Got to spear QT Marshall, who was awesome in this match. They revisited the QT Big Show stuff. And then the Rizzler was the most, over guy in the entire arena. So I don't know how anybody could bring a doom to this, because I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, people do, because I guess they just want I think some people resent when celebrities, even if they have a wrestling background, come in and take time on a pay-per-view, even the pre-show, for wrestlers who've been there every day. And, to that, I would say this was on the pre-show.
Yeah.
It did not take, they didn't put AJ in a title match.
Right.
It was a 10-minute match.
Yet. That
seemingly got the company a lot of exposure. He was doing press, all the video clips that he was in on Dynamite stuff. I'm guessing on Rampage too, where they had the weigh-in, got tons of views.
Yeah.
This is why they, wrestling companies bring celebrities in to get exposure outside of the wrestling bubble.
Yeah.
And if it helps the company get more viewers on their product, then I don't really see the issue with it.
There's no issue. It's the number one. I saw much more support for this and people willing to buy into the fun. And maybe it's because I switched my social media platforms. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But the crowd itself was really into this. They were very supportive. They were buying into the fun. All these great, very supportive chants. Not a lot of cynicism there, and I like that, man. Sometimes you just gotta have some fun with it, and appreciate what you got in front of you. But yeah, no, I thought it was fun, and exactly what you said is correct. It was on the pre-show, didn't take up anybody else's space. There was there's two other pre-show matches, 2 or 3. One of them was a fatal 4-way with Dante Martin, Beast Mordos, Buddy Murphy, who's really over. Buddy
Commander,
Murphy,
right?
And Commander, yeah. Phenomenal match. So much fun. I mean, so much talent packed into one match. And Buddy got the win there. But that was a really, really good one as well. So, anybody out there who didn't happen to catch any of the other pre-show matches, that is one I'd recommend, because I thought it was really, really fun.
There you go. So AJ got the win over QT. Spear from Big Justice. Yeah. Power boom from AJ to get the win, even though Aaron Solo tried to interfere. Didn't work out for him the whole time.
Rizzler's doing the mewing the entire time. And then he does, I don't know what this is.
I don't know. He knew that kid knew when the camera was on him. Like, he knew
when
they
told him, when that red light's on, do your shit, because he did it every time.
He did it every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, he knew. Anyways, move on to the main card. Main card opened up with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title match. We had Private Party defending against the Outrunners, House of Black, and the Acclaim. So this match, the entire story of this match was the Acclaim breaking up.
That's exactly correct, yeah.
You have the champions in their first pay-per-view title defense, who just, like, more or less, hey, we're in the ring, let's hit gin and juice to get the win. So much of the focus of this was on the Acclaim falling apart.
Yeah, the Acclaimed is such a weird thing, because, like, there's always the thing of, where does the performer end and the character begin? So, like, the Max Caster hate has sort of been because, like, the crowd was outright chanting "fuck you, Caster"
Yeah.
multiple times during this match, and I wonder, and I don't know if it's, you know, if it's the performer trying to get heat for the character with his history of like raps that kind of cross a certain line at certain points, or has been perceived to cross certain lines at certain points, his social media activity, or what. But like he's just engendered no, like, tons of like venom from the crowd, basically.
Yeah, ill
no
will.
goodwill. Yeah, no goodwill, ill will.
Ill will.
And
yes.
and conversely, I think that's helped the goodwill with Bowens. Besides the fact that he's just, number one, he seems like a really cool guy. Number two, hell of a performer.
Yep.
Got the charisma, got everything you need for
He's
a
a heck
singles
of an
run.
in-ring worker too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's the total package for sure.
Yeah.
And so you got this weird situation where this act, who's like really super over a couple of years ago, through both, a little bit of Caster's extracurriculars, and on top of that, their creative not really recovering from when they lost to the Gunn brothers.
Yeah.
And now we're at a situation where finally it seems like they're actually going to break them up. We've seen the Hurt Syndicate try to recruit Max Caster. And again, that's a group I'd love to see expand as well. And they're asked about that a lot.
Well, they mentioned, the commentary mentioned that last,
Yeah.
Full Gear. Yeah.
And so I'd love to see them actually do that. But at Full Gear, we saw fully, they are completely on a different page. What do you think the best way to go about, number one, the actual breakup, and number two, shooting Bowens to the moon?
The latter part, absolutely. Like, I think Anthony Bowens is a future singles champion. Absolutely. Because he's a former baseball player, so I think in the Indies he used the gimmick 5-tool player.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And he is absolutely, he's good. He's great on the mic. He's a great wrestler. He's got charisma. He's got tons of presence. And he is at times seemingly effortlessly forged a bond with the AEW fan base.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you put the jetpack on him and you push him. As far as the breakup, I mean, they've taken a pretty slow burn with it, and taken their time. And I don't know if it's a situation where, maybe they get themselves another title opportunity, 1-on-1 this time against a Private Party, or 2-on-2. And the failure there again just leads to the split. I don't know exactly. I don't know, maybe mid-rap, Bowen's like, what are you talking about? Knocks the mic out of his hand,
What if the rap, like, Caster blames, like, Caster raps about Bowens?
Starts shooting on Bowens
Does
mid-rap.
a diss track, yeah. I mean, dude, at this point, you got to do a feud between the two.
Yeah.
Give him a couple of matches, give him a series, make a big deal about it. And then when you rebrand Bowens, he can't be former acclaimed guy.
No.
They've got to give him, like,
there should be no more scissoring going on.
There should be no more. Oh boy, yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, he's a clever enough guy. He's a smart enough guy to figure out how to rebrand. And then if you're Tony Khan, you just push the shit out of him. I didn't notice. Did they release the Continental Classic
brackets? Yeah, they did.
They did. Is he in that? Probably not, huh?
No, he's not.
All right. Next year then, because you gotta make this guy into you've got all the ingredients there for Bowens to be a major guy. You really do.
You do, absolutely. So down towards the finish, Bowens is setting up to hit Malachi with something, but then Max tags himself in. So Bowens is like, "What the heck you doing?" And so Caster's like up at the top rope, and he's telling Bowens, hit the arrival. And so he's like, all right, I'll do that. And he does it, but then Turbo Floyd pulls Caster off the top rope, and then the Private Party hits Gin and Juice on Max Caster to get the win and retain the titles. It was a decent enough match. I just wish there was more of the story focused on the champions and what their story arc now is, being champions and not basically solely entirely focused. I mean, I'm not saying you don't tell part of the Acclaim story. Of course you do, but it just seemed like the entire focus of this match was the Acclaim breaking up.
Yeah. No, I feel
They're
you.
tag champs. Tell a story with them too.
No, well, they'll get to that hopefully. After that, we had OC Orange Cassidy backstage. He's like, they sent a message tonight. AEW sends a message back. He just cuts a promo. He says, tonight I'm gonna put that title in my backpack and be new AEW champion. Then we had MJF versus Roderick Strong. MJF grabs a mic when the bell rings, talks some shit. He calls Roderick Strong white trash. He calls New Jersey the dumpster fire of the world. Talks about making millions, shooting movies. How much do you think he got for the Sandler movie?
Probably not $1 million.
I'm surprised it took you that long to register that one.
Well, I was just trying to. Maybe he means cumulatively across all the films he's made more than $1 million.
So from what I know, he did the Sandler one. He did the Von Erich one where he was like in one shot.
I mean, he was in Iron Claw, but then he still paid for it. He was executive producer as well for Iron Claw.
Oh, do you think he as an executive producer, do you think he got points?
I don't know if he got points, but he got some money out of it, yeah.
Well, he got some money out of it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know if he got points. I don't know if every EP gets points,
Yeah, if he's smart.
Yeah,
that made its budget back, and then some.
Oh yeah, that did pretty well.
I
got the Continental Classic bracket here. If you want to know who's in them.
Let me take.
You got your Blue League.
Let me take. Well, yeah, I don't know about the leagues. Darby's in it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Thought he was.
Darby's in it.
Yeah, he is.
Brody's in it.
I gotta go back and forth between these brackets.
Oh, sorry.
No Brody.
Just go ahead and tell me them.
All right, Okada. This is Blue League. You got Okada.
He wins Blue League. Continue.
Kyle Fletcher.
Boy, that match. Oh boy.
Daniel Garcia. Mark Briscoe.
Oh yeah.
Shelton Benjamin.
Okay. Oof.
Frank Mortos. Sadly, Beast Mortos is the dude that take all the L's.
He's going to be the stinker, isn't he? I was going to ask who's going to get the donut.
Oh, sorry, Brody is in it. Brody's in Gold League.
Well, hold on a second though. Briscoe can have the donut.
They did that with him last year. He won his final match. Otherwise,
yeah, they're going to.
He was just Ring of Honor champion. He's not going to go 1-7 or whatever.
Mortos is going to go 1-7. Oh man, they're really going to job out Mortos that much? I know. Damn.
Well, look, that's what happened to Garcia and Mark Briscoe last year, and then they were both champions afterwards. So,
all right, Gold League.
Darby, Claudio.
He's got to have a good one. Oh, he'll get that Claudio win back. Okay.
Yeah. Ospreay.
Yeah.
Ricochet.
Oh, wow.
Brody King is in it. I just missed him when he asked first time.
Okay.
And then, sorry, Juice.
Oh, wow. Juice is, he'll do worse than Beast Mortos. Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, he's going to tank it. Big tank.
Maybe.
Yeah. Good talent in that thing. Going to be some good matches.
We're the best wrestling, if you've heard that about AEW, Steve.
There's some good talent, and also Ricochet's in it. Let's see here. Goodness. So let's talk about this MJF Roderick Strong. Let's talk about this MJF Roderick Strong. So he talks shit. Man, Roderick Strong is like one of my favorite in-ring guys.
Everything he does has a sense of urgency to it.
It does.
Everything.
Man, I don't know about the whole, make it look real thing. You should to a degree, of course. But, my God, Roderick Strong really does make it look real.
Yeah. So MJF working over Roddy's hand and arm throughout the match. Of course, that plays into the finish. Down towards that, Roddy's got MJF at a Texas Cloverleaf, but his hand gives out. So Roddy blocks a brainbuster, hits an elbow, and then hits an end of heartache out of nowhere. Covers. MJF gets his foot on the rope. Rolls out of the ring. Roddy charges towards him. Back in the ring, MJF hits him with a small package. Gets two. Roderick Strong with a torture rack backbreaker into a gutbuster, then a sick kick, and then MJF responds with a brainbuster, and then pins, and then right at the kick out, MJF goes right into salt of the earth, but because the hand's so jacked up, like early on, he wrenched it in the turnbuckle that Roddy taps.
Yeah. And then afterwards, he grabs a chair. He puts Roderick's arm in the chair thing, and then he Pillmanizes it, so to speak. As Adam Cole comes running out, MJF runs away. The Undisputed Kingdom checks on Strong, and then O'Reilly shoves Cole because he's like, "I told you this was gonna happen," and he was like, "Well, where were you? Like, shouldn't you have been waiting for this if you knew this was gonna happen? Where were you, Kyle O'Reilly? Listen." Let's get past this damn Cole MJF thing. Let's just get past it. All right. Have the match at World's End. Done. You're done. You're good. Undisputed Kingdom. Cole, Roddy, Kyle O'Reilly, Taven, and Bennett. They throw back those old Undisputed Era comedy vignettes. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. That's what should be next. I don't even need to see any of them wrestle. I just want to see comedy vignettes with those 6, 5, whatever, how many guys there are.
4 guys? 4, 5, 5,
yeah.
5.
Right. 5 guys. Yeah. That'd be great.
Just 5 guys, right?
Just those 5 guys. Just 5
guys. Just 5 guys.
Right.
After that, we did TBS Championship match. Mercedes Moné taking on Chris Statlander. This was great.
Ooh, boy.
The story of I'm giving my opponent everything I got and then some, and yet they persevere is done fairly often.
Sure.
This is an instance where, like, the selling Mercedes after Statlander was kicking out of everything.
Yeah.
Is like each successive time it was more anger, more desperation. I thought Mercedes selling that story beat was fantastic. The match itself was really good. I saw some people being critical of the finish, but it was like Mercedes threw everything at Statlander. Everything. Hit or finish. Statlander kicked out.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
No. And so she got an opportunistic, deep roll up to get the win. But I thought this match was really, 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 really good.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was Mercedes. I know a lot of people point to her Forbidden Door match, but like I thought this was her best because Statlander's so fucking good.
Yeah, I mean it was so either this one or Mercedes match against Willow. That was really good too.
Yeah, I think the main problem with the finish wasn't necessarily that they did it. It was they really did a great job. I think making people believe that Statlander has a chance here. And I think the crowd really got deflated because she didn't win. And you got to ask yourself, should this have been the time that they did the title change? I kind of feel like it probably was, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think the crowd was just like, come on. And I think that might play into some perception of the match finish as well. But yeah, I thought generally speaking, the match was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I can understand some frustration with the finish.
I guess so. So Mercedes is working Statlander's knee a ton, wrecking it. Even hits a frog splash on her leg.
Yeah.
Eventually hits a couple backstabbers, and the moneymaker Statlander kicks out. She looks for another one, but Chris counters with a backslide. Then Mercedes with a cradle. Statlander powers her up and slams her, looking for a Saturday Night Fever, but then Monet breaks that up by biting her in the knee.
Yeah.
And then she sends Statlander to the ropes, and then when Statlander's rebounding off the ropes, like throat first into the second rope, when she was rebounding back, Monet rolls her up to get the win. But it was like, 5 devastating moves that Chris kept on kicking out of. So it was literally, I'm throwing everything at Statlander to get her to stay down. I can't do it.
Yeah. So
I
wonder if it's gonna be Willow to dethrone Mercedes.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Because she came back, and then if you have Willow and Stat, because now Stat's a good guy.
Yeah.
So if they kind of reconnect on, hey, you almost beat Mercedes, good job. Hey, go get her kind of thing. I could see that being the case, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. That would make all the sense. Next, we had Hangman taking on Jay White. This was kind of, in some respects, a bit of a carbon copy of what they did last time. Last time, Hangman was intent on beating Jay White with a buckshot, led to him losing. This time, Hangman was intent on beating Jay White with an ankle lock, and it led to him losing.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you surprised at the outcome of this?
No, not really, because that's Hangman's story. is sometimes he lets his emotions get the better of him. And you know, going into this, I was like, why is Jay White saying he's going to make Hangman tap out? Like, he doesn't even have a submission move, or at least not a submission finisher that he's used. But I guess it was to get in Hangman's head, because Hangman's like, oh, I know going into this, he kept on saying, well, am I going to I could break your ankle, I could burn down your house. Well, he put the thought in his head, well, I'm going to make you tap out. Well, Hangman's natural inclination is going to be, oh, I'm going to make you tap.
Yeah, right.
You say you're going to do that to me.
Yeah. Sort of wanted to mention.
But it ended up just, he kept on trying to put on that ankle lock, and Jay reversed it and hit a Blade Runner out of nowhere to get the win.
I wonder if big picture this was also used to motivate interaction between Mox and Hangman, where Mox is like, look at you, you can't win shit because you're too far deep into your head. Like, you're not the future of this place. Like, you might not even be here in 6 months because you look like you're on the verge of burning out.
Yeah.
You know, and if the idea is everything Mox touches, like, it's better. You know, even though he's like going around trying to murder people, then maybe like whatever that interaction is going to be is going to be the impetus for Hangman to go on like a winning run again.
A huge run. Yeah, it could be.
That could be.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm kind of surprised that neither Hangman nor Jay White are in the Continental Classic.
I mean, it kind of doesn't fit like Hangman's thing. Like the Continental Classic is like, hey, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Darby is in it.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Because it's like, oh, this is supposed to be where the wrestle stuff happens.
And the winner just gets the Continental title. They don't get a world title. They don't get a world title shot.
Wait, is Takeshita in it?
No.
Oh, wow. There goes my prediction. Okada's going to win the whole thing. I
mean, he's the greatest. If he does, he is without a doubt the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. That's what they said.
Right. Like, that's the whole point of this, is just to have him be best tournament wrestler.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a step down from
we might get Okada and Ospreay in the finals, though.
That'll be really good. Ooh.
At World's End, that'll be really good.
Wow.
This match was good between Hangman and Jay White. They got great chemistry.
Oh, they got terrific chemistry, yeah.
It was good. I just felt like it hewed a little too close to their previous bout in terms of the story itself. But then Hangman's story is he's a mess. He just feels too much.
Yeah, man. Very sensitive guy.
So then afterwards, Jay White goes up the ramp. Hangman goes after him, attacks him, and then Christopher Daniels comes out, and then so Hangman just punches him. Whoop-ha. And then walks back. And Jay White doesn't even check on Christopher Daniels. Just kind of looks down on him. Carries on.
I like that. In character. Stay in character. You might be like a good guy, I guess, but, you know, nobody wants to check in. Even if you're like a super babyface, don't check on Daniels. What are you coming out there? What are you coming out? What are you going to do?
No, he's corporate stooge at this point. You don't check on him.
Well, you don't check on him.
No.
Anyways, if you got a problem with your paycheck, then you check on him.
Yeah.
Hey, my direct deposit didn't hit today. What's going on with that?
How come my merch money is a little light this month?
Feeling a little light this month. Daniels.
After that, we had Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Steve, you really liked this match.
I love this match. Holy shit. Man, I think one thing that I just really appreciate, again, from a big picture standpoint, is one of the knocks on AEW is that they have a hard time sort of like, I don't know, building people from like one thing into another thing.
Yeah.
Fletcher, they have done a terrific job.
Also, I think you have to give a lot of that credit to Kyle Fletcher.
Oh yeah, whatever the you know, I'm not saying AEW I'm just saying like whatever the situation is, whomever is to take credit or blame, they have a hard time transforming people into like, oh man, you were sort of like loser guy who is still a phenomenal wrestler, but like when are you going to get out of that? When are you going to turn into a title guy?
Yeah.
Well, we've seen that with Fletcher. And it's probably a couple of years before, maybe a year or so before he's like international title guy or TBS title guy, whatever. But he is firmly on the road. This match was fucking awesome. And to see him so fully develop, get that full rebrand, you know, with now he's got, you know, with the shaved head, and he comes out in like the really cool supervillain attire. Just looks like $1 million. Yeah. And his promos are good. They're, you know, he's very comfortable on the mic. And then you let that shit inform the in-ring stuff, which is already awesome, but now you got something to bite onto.
Yeah.
God damn it, I love this match, dude. I thought this match was awesome.
It was really good. You know, both Fletcher and Ospreay, talk about Roderick Strong, wrestle their matches with urgency.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of meandering, And that's not to say they don't sell, because I thought Osprey especially sold, like whenever the camera was on him, even sometimes where you see him in the backyard react to things, and they're little things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just selling, I'm in pain. It's the magnitude of the moment.
Right. Yeah. This is personal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought both of them did a really good job with selling the story of the match. But yeah, they both wrestle with such intensity and urgency. Like every move is of the utmost importance.
And they do crazy shit.
They do, and on top of that, they do crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, there was a couple spots I was like, oh, God, don't do that. Oh, man. Boy, oh, boy, this is a fucking roller coaster match, man.
It was really good. So Fletcher's looking for the turnbuckle brainbuster, but instead Osprey reverses that to a Styles Clash, gets a 2, hits a hidden blade, but Fletcher kicks out. So Will is attacking Fletcher's neck, and that was what Fletcher was going after on Will the whole time. So Will was doing the thing. He was having trouble feeling his fingers, his left hand, as he mentioned before. So then he notices that earlier in the match, the ring steps had gotten moved, so they're closer to the apron. And so he's looking to hit a Stormbreaker on Fletcher, but instead Fletcher escapes and hits a tombstone off the apron onto the ring steps.
That was crazy. That was nuts.
Great. And Fletcher's talking crap to Osprey. Oh, see, look, I'm better than you. I'm going to prove it. So Fletcher charges in, hits a leg lariat, follows with, it's kind of like Brody's Gonzo driver, Gonzo bomb, kind of pile jar type variant. Gets a 2 there because Will just barely lifts his shoulder up. And then Kyle's looking for a Tiger driver. Will reverses that to a cover. Looks for a hidden blade, but he's got nothing left at this point. Will does. So he just bounces off Kyle. So Fletcher's taunting him. Will's trying to hit him with his left hand. Again, nothing. So then Fletcher hits a kick and then puts Osprey on top and hits the top turnbuckle brainbuster cover to get the win. No outside interference.
Nope.
Especially down the stretch, a fairly dominant victory for Kyle Fletcher. I mean, there's no ambiguity here. On this day, Kyle Fletcher was the better man.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, we all know Will Ospreay. He'll be fine. This helps Fletcher more than I thought it would, to be honest with you, because I know it was kind of poo. I was like, I don't know, but goddamn, the way this match was constructed, the way he beat him, holy shit, this was great, man. So hats off to both guys. I thought Mark Davis he came down at the end to check on Will. I thought for sure he was gonna fuck him up even more, but he didn't. Checked on him, made sure he was okay.
I mean, they got to follow through on Osprey accidentally hitting him with that hidden blade during that tag match, right?
Oh, I don't know. You know what, man? Sometimes just like mistakes happen, accidents happen. Oh, it's all right. I know. I checked the footage. It'll be fine. I mean, that's what I thought they were going to do that. I thought he was going to be like, oi. But no, he didn't. Instead, he was like, oi.
I thought he was going to go in there and take the boots to Osprey.
I know, same. And then join the Callis family, but nope.
Awesome reunion, but no.
After that, we had the Mariah May Championship celebration. Mina introduces her, makes her way out. She said, "This is the celebration I always deserved. It was a tough 4 months, but it was all worth it to step on, beat, and kill this entire division. There's not a single woman alive who could touch me. Mina, my one true friend, I couldn't have done this without you." They toast, and Mina says, "To all the AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May." And then Mariah, they start dancing, and then Mariah grabs the bottle and goes to hit Mina, and Mina ducks it, spits in her face. Then Mina spears her off the stage. They go through a table.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Well, they kind of skim one, then go through the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad. So Mariah's selling like she's knocked out, and Mina gets up and she's bleeding from her mouth, and she's just like screaming. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Yeah.
Good image.
No, it was good stuff. It was good stuff.
So we get this really good Daniel Garcia video package. Once you see this, 100% he's winning.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they pull the old swerve,
And he, in fact, did win. New TNT champ. Put him up, Steve.
He doesn't really do that.
He did in the corner. He got up there and did this.
Yeah.
He made his entrance. He just doesn't dance, but he still does this.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned where Jack Perry likes to do the, hey, I'm going to sacrifice for you. But he brought the
It's like
title
he was a
in.
big fan of the Sons of Anarchy finale.
Maybe.
He was like, oh my God, that's so profound. And I'm like, no, it just doesn't make any sense, Jack Perry.
Well, maybe it doesn't. Jack Perry resonates with him.
I guess so.
So he brings the TNT title in and gives it to Garcia and says, take your shot. But Garcia's like, I should do it. No, maybe I will. No.
And the ref is right there.
Yeah. He did DQ, yeah. So instead, he throws the belt to the ref. So when the ref's getting rid of it, Jack Perry hits him with a low blow, follows with his running knee. Gets a 2 count, though. Looking for another knee. Garcia evades that. And Garcia eventually jackknife pin, catches a kick, hits a pile driver. That first pile driver was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And then, according to Chris Garrick's notes here, thank you, Chris, for getting these notes to us. Much appreciated. It says Garcia fires up and hits 15 chops on Perry as he laughs. Another pile driver. And then he locks on the Dragon Tamer. Leans back. Jack Perry taps. New TNT champion.
Good for Daniel Garcia, man. Good for Daniel Garcia. Hopefully he got that bag. Now he's got a title. The question is, Larson, should he go back to the TNT title as it was before? Should he get a custom Garcia title? Or should he keep it the same?
As much as I really like how the TNT title looks now, that's Jack Perry's title. So Garcia should get his own.
No way. It looks amazing. And here's the thing, even more so.
Great.
Like Garcia, how I knew he was going to win is because like his trunks were that title themed. They're like black with like, red accent, which he wears all the time. But still, like those are his colors.
Yeah.
But still, like, goddamn, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It looks amazing.
It looks
like,
great.
do this. If you want to do anything, like maybe splatter some more like red
on there?
paint on it. Be like, look, a little bit more blood because it's Jack Perry's blood and symbolically, not actual, because that's kind of gross. And so that's now the Daniel Garcia title version of the title is just more red blood on it.
We'll see.
You know what he could do?
They'll probably give him a half-finished one.
Give him the Alpha title, the Alpha TNT title. Put a red strap on it.
That's what I say, because down the trim, the side of his trunks was like red scales.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So have that be the
so
belt.
keep the normal like the Jack Perry plate.
Yeah.
But red strap it and then like flick some like black paint on it, so it's kind of inverse.
Like a Jackson Pollock thing. Yeah.
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 Like
but with the dragon scales, it looked like dragon scales,
that'd be cool. Yeah, there you go.
Do something like that.
Like real dragon scales?
Well, dragons aren't real, buddy.
Well, they were like a long time ago.
No, they were never real.
Maybe they can get
Think about dinosaurs.
do like a Jurassic Park type situation where he clones just some scales.
But just the scales.
Just the scales, though.
Sort of like when they cloned a human ear in the back of a mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, man. What are they doing over there? Stop doing that science stuff, man.
It's like Island of Dr. Moreau type stuff going on.
Some things you just gotta leave alone. Just leave it alone.
Don't play God, humans.
Yeah, come on now. Let's do good things with science, not crazy things with science.
Yeah.
Let's figure out the climate shit, and then you can start putting ears on shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before we talk about this next match, dude, we're in the middle of the big boom predictions challenge, Larson. You and I had pretty decent full gears. Right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have them in front of me. I think, who's in first place? I was going to take a look at the thing here.
I did look at it before we started, but then...
I know Dave Matuszek was in first place for a spell.
But I think no more. I think it was updated.
Oh, is it no more?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm going to look at this because people want to know. Tyler O is currently in first place with 95 points. We're not that far behind. You're 10 down from the leader. I'm only 7 down from the leader. So, we got Survivor Series coming up. A lot of good prop bets. Probably on the horizon for that.
I mean, if we do order of eliminations, woo!
Wait a second. Is it?
It's not elimination.
Yeah, there are no elimination. Because I was going to say the same thing, and I was
order
like,
of entrance into.
There you go. That's it. That's it.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes, that's right. So we've got that coming up. The big boom predictions hat is on the way. It's coming, man. So who will win the Big Boom Predictions Challenge? If you want to participate in the final leg of the Predictions Challenge, just for funsies or to put us on notice, to make a statement to the Going in Raw Predictions Challenge locker room, then you can sign up right now by clicking join right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, or go to patreon.com/Steve and Larson. You also get access to all of our bonus episodes and the question threads for the show today. While we're talking about that stuff, do us a solid, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, because YouTube loves when people leave comments on the videos. So please do that. Also, we've got a Friendo Club member here, Patrick Cheese, man, for 18 months, says, is there a custom title a la Punks and Romans that Steve wouldn't buy? Sure. Yeah, as people might know on the Wrestle Juice, I have purchased the CM Punk Signature Series title, and it's very exciting. It's shipped, should be here within days, and I'll do a live opening, a live unboxing of that particular title over at youtube.com/WrestleJuice, or go to the twitch.tv. I'm going to do a co-broadcast, Wrestling Juice, over at the twitch.tv.
There you go.
But yeah, there's plenty of custom titles out there that I haven't bought. Like they did like an Edge custom Intercontinental, I think.
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
I don't need that.
No.
You know, I'm a huge Gunther fan, but I didn't get like the Intercontinental. It's a fine looking title, but there's plenty that I wouldn't get and I haven't got. Yep. The one that I'd love to get, there's two that I actually really like and I appreciate, but like not enough to plunk down that much money for. They did a commemorative Bret Hart Signature Series title.
Yeah.
And I thought that looked pretty slick.
Yeah.
And then there's also like an Ultimate Warrior one. And I can't support that guy. No. So, but it's a nice looking title, you know.
Jimmy Thomas here has some breaking news. Says Fightful is reporting that AJ broke his foot and finished the match. Real worker.
I saw that in the comments earlier. Yeah. Mars Bars and Cars here with the super chat says, given that Larson is CM Punk's #1 fan, is he gonna buy the Signature Series title?
No, my title has been usurped. Steve is now.
Yeah, I guess so. You know,
#1 fan.
Punk down that much money for a Signature Series title. You know, I think I just bought that position. You know.
Yeah.
So,
no. Yeah. There's 500 reasons however much it is. Steve is new #1 CM Punk fan.
I've had a lot of great support, though. I did the pre-show live stream, got like 70 subs off that on the Twitch. A couple of huge super chats from J-Time and WS Fletcher that helped out. And the videos themselves have been doing pretty good. So very quickly
rewarding
recouping.
yourself for hard work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, recouping the cost. Oh boy, let's talk about this, man.
Sure.
So you know my thoughts on this, and I'll tell the people my thoughts on this because I texted you my thoughts on this match.
With visual evidence.
With visual evidence, Takeshita versus Ricochet, international title on the line. What did you think of this match, Larson?
I mean, you had me thinking this was all rest holds. That was just like the very beginning of it.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
I'm not saying that. Here's the thing. This is the issue I have. It's not so much rest holds, but if that was to catch the strategy going in, I got to ground the high flyer Ricochet.
Okay.
To get it.
Yeah.
But Ricochet shouldn't be battling rest hold for rest hold with Takeshita.
Somebody actually made a really interesting point in one of my Wrestle Juice comments when I talked about this, I think on the hot takes thing. And they said that Shelton Benjamin has been out with saying when he left WWE, he had a hard time, or it took him a while to adapt to the way like New Japan does stuff and the general non-WWE, system works, if you can call it that. And maybe a year from now, Ricochet will be wowing me with his matches. And, I have appreciated Ricochet for being an in-ring guy for as long as he's, I've known about him. This, in my opinion, Takeshita is one of the best in-ring guys that AEW has. I always love to see his matches, and I really like what he's done with his character over the past year. Mm-hmm. But this match, he seemed like he was bored. He came off like he was like, I can't really do much here. That was my perception of it. There were a couple of cool sequences, But that's kind of it. Like, there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a lot to this match. And like, I texted you within 2 minutes of this match, they were already at a rest hold. And I was like, why are you doing this right now? They should have started off bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, this match was not my favorite.
Yeah, and you know, it was that level of urgency though that was missing from it.
Yeah,
And
there was
it
none of
doesn't
that.
help with a bunch of rest holds early on.
No.
You know, like Ricochet is supposed to be so upset that Takeshita's cost him the international championship twice. There was a video package in advance of this match where he said as much. Where's the urgency? You know, urgency goes so far in the world of wrestling.
It really does.
How you approach your matches, how you approach your character. And that's what I felt like, especially the early part of this match, was lacking, was any sense of urgency. You know, Ricochet, if he's that angry, like Orange Cassidy, as soon as that bell rang, bang, 3 orange punches.
Oh,
Urgency.
that was awesome. Yeah, that was great.
You know, a lot of the MJF Roddy match, urgency, everything about Ospreay and Fletcher. As soon as that bell rang, they are charging right after each other and hitting each other.
Yeah.
I know you can't open every match that way. There's different ways you could approach urgency.
Yeah, right.
Start with a bunch of roll-ups or something. I don't know. Just something that leads me to believe Ricochet not just wants to beat Takeshita, has to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what was kind of missing from this for me. It wasn't so much the rest hold aspect. I think more in terms of the philosophy with which this match was put together. It just didn't have the urgency that I thought it probably should have.
Well, yeah. I mean, the rest hold to me is a symptom of that, though.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
Like, I wasn't like just saying in a vacuum, oh, why are they doing this? It's, God damn, I can tell this match is not going to be all that great because they're taking this approach to it.
But it was a situation where Ricochet comes out with urgency, Takeshi's like, I need to slow this down a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't have complained
Makes
about
sense.
it.
Makes all the sense. Yeah.
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 So, yeah. Cheese Man says, join the syndicate, Trevor, man. I think that, and part of it maybe is like, if the dude finds a character that really clicks, then maybe that can inform some of what he does in the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was probably my stinker of the night, to be honest with you.
But that being said, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't terrible. Like
Well, they weren't botching all over the place because they know what they're doing. I'm not saying that, but I'm like, dude, you put these two guys who are supposed to be like, oh my God, wrestlers in there.
Yeah.
And they deliver something that's decidedly mid.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I'm not going to say it was great, but it was just kind of, it was middle of the road. Takeshi gets the win after hitting the Avalanche Falcon Arrow. I think just kind of the more surprising aspect of it was they made no effort to protect Ricochet and loss.
No. That's not surprising to me at all.
I mean, the commentary is like, Ricochet has been beaten since he's been in AEW. Just because he's still relatively new to the company, they might want to protect him a bit more when it comes to taking an L. Don Callis was sitting there ringside.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What do I know?
After that, we had Bobby Lashley versus Swerve Strickland. As kind of we figured, Bobby Lashley got the win here over Swerve Strickland.
Oh yeah, and I know there was a stretch towards the slightly towards the end where Swerve got in a bunch of offense, but you know when Lashley was dominating, he was dominating.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able, even though Swerve stomped him through the announce table, hit him with a house call, hits the Swerve stomp, Lashley kicks out. And it wasn't long after that, so I think he rolls out of the ring, hits a belly-to-belly on the floor, and then spears Swerve through the barricade, puts him back in the ring, another spear, hurt lock, Swerve passes out. So it was a long stretch where Lashley was dominating. Swerve gets some offense in towards the middle. It's a really good creative stuff.
Mm-hmm,
That Swerve stomp especially, where he runs up the steps and stomps him through the announce table. It's great.
Yeah, no, that was rad. That was cool. How can they motivate another match between these two, given that it was a pretty dominant Bobby Lashley?
Because Lashley put his hands on Prince Nana, put him in the hurt lock.
So what's Swerve gonna do? You put, let me get my ass beat again by you. Yeah.
I mean, he just wants revenge.
Let me get another shot.
Yeah.
Let me get another shot.
Like, it's one thing that if you beat me, but you put Prince Nana on the hurt lock, and I don't let anybody do that to my family.
So I feel like we need to see, before we get there, here's the thing. Lashley just is like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? Like, I'm not going to give you another match. I'll just beat the shit out of you. What's going to be different?
Or it could be, you want another match? Fine, I'll make an example out of you again.
I think it should be this. We see some of that Swerve where you put hands on Nana. Guess what? I'm going to put hands on MVP. I'm going to hide somewhere, and I'm going to get MVP, and I'm going to put hands on him. I'm going to do something fucked up and vicious like the old Swerve.
Yeah.
And then you get Lashley saying, oh, boy, you don't do that. You think this goes one more match or two more matches?
I hope it goes two more.
Same.
I hope so.
But in that case, doesn't Lashley have to lose the next two matches?
Maybe they go one more. Maybe Lashley wins the first two.
Okay.
They step away for a while. Mm-hmm. And then they come back around to it, and then Swerve wins that one.
All right. I think I like that. I think that's good. Then we had our main event.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. And I love this. You just talked about the sense of urgency lacking from the Takeshita Ricochet match. I loved how they started this match. Bell rings immediately. Orange Cassidy hits an orange punch, second one, a third one, a suicide dive. So he's got Moxley. He's got him shook on the outside, and then the match just sort of takes off. This was this was one of the better Moxley. I'm not usually a Moxley match guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I'm an Orange Cassidy match guy, and that dude, he really brought it to this match.
Because he wrestles with urgency.
He does.
I know so much, he does the hands in pockets thing and kind of the slacker.
It's meant to juxtapose when he turns it on.
Exactly. It's to lull his opponents in a false sense of security, because then when he puts his foot on the gas pedal, it's all urgency at that point.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
There's so many instances in this where Mox was beating the hell out of him. He's just refusing to stay down. So eventually, though, he hits another orange punch, beach break. Mox kicks out. Death Riders come to the ringside area, get on the apron, then Conglomeration comes to fend them off. Rocky takes out everyone with a dive off the top. Marina's in the ring with the briefcase, but then Willow runs out and spears her. They tumble to the floor, so Cassidy grabs the case, bashes Mox with it. Mox kicks out. So OC's setting up for the orange punch. And Mox is kind of like, ref, come here, I'm really hurt. Because he's having a hard time getting to his feet. So the ref's checking on him. So Wheeler Yuta comes in, hits Orange Cassidy with a knee plus. Mox follows with Death Rider to get the win. And as Mox matches goes, this was fine.
Yeah, I thought this is a good one. So we already talked about what happened afterwards, but we'll mention it really quick again. Adam Page comes down, attacks Wheeler. Christian comes out, kill switch. Page hands him the contract. Jay White hits a Blade Runner on Christian. Claudio and Pac attack Jay White. Mox leaves. They all try to get out of there. Jay White grabs a chair, goes after them. We see them trying to leave as they get to the truck, but then a car smashes into it. And then my favorite part of the whole thing, though, was Pac giving the big boot to some indie worker who's supposed to be like the valet guy.
Yeah, the valet, yeah.
He just boots him over this little barricade that's right there. They grab the car for the SUV that's for somebody else, and they take off. And then Darby's like, "Let's fucking do it! Come on, let's do this. Finish this shit."
My favorite part of this is when Darby, after he hits the Death Rider mobile, and he's starting to talk shit, and he's trying to get up on the hood of the car, but the first time he gets up, his foot slips.
He slips off, yeah. And then he gets up there. I just like how the people who are trying to convince him to get off the truck are just mildly annoyed. They're, "Come on, man, get off the truck.
It's so close to wrapping up time. Let's just get out of here.
People are gonna want their cars. Come on, you're clogging up the lane here.
Yeah,
out of there. I don't care about your lane, man. Death Riders." Anyways, I did put up a couple of question threads, Larson.
Yep.
So I feel like it wouldn't be out of pocket for us to answer said questions.
Justin Sider says, was this the best AEW pay-per-view of the year because of the omission of Jericho from the card?
That is one. Hey, I'll be honest with you. Isn't that one super positive for Jericho being Ring of Honor champion? Is that?
He'll just do Ring of Honor shows, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, not TV, because nobody ever shows up to their TV. Let's see here. Oh, Michael Scalmanini says, how does Seth react to Punk helping Roman? Larson, just give me body language. Seth reacting to Punk helping Roman. Oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
But perplexed. Why are you doing this?
He's making a sandwich, and then he looks over the TV.
It's like I wanted to eat my TV dinner, but now I'm not feeling that hungry. So
I'm not hungry, man.
Yeah, I'm not a hungry man anymore. I was a hungry man.
I was a hungry man.
Not a
but
hungry
now I'm not hungry, man.
Man. I mean, I guess
We'll
it's
find out in
interesting
about
'cause
5 hours.
You know, they had the Punk Roman thing at the end where Punk telling Roman, "I'm here because of Heyman, not because of you." And Roman says, "Well, he's my wise man," and Punk saying, "Maybe not."
Mm-hmm.
And then people were like, "Yeah, this is great. I can't wait till this leads to Seth versus Punk." And I'm like, you could do Roman versus Punk off this.
Oh, there's a lot, and we'll talk about it tomorrow on the show when we get into it deeper. But there's a lot that they can do with this Punk situation, and I love it. That's what I love about it. I'm so used to them going the stupid obvious route, which is just Seth Rollins. Oh, I got beat up by Bronson Reed with the help of Solo Sikoa, so now I'm all on board. I'm going to violate everything that I just said. That's why I was like, holy shit, they're actually doing this? That's kind of surprising. Even though, like, logically, it makes plenty of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Pumpkin Savage says, if you could book dream matches between today's WWE main roster and the late 90s, early 2000s roster, what matches would you choose? For example, Seth Rollins versus HBK or Triple H versus Gunther.
Oh, give me Dan Severn versus Gunther.
What a great shout. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Jimmy Thomas here says, who is your pick who will be in the Garcia role this year in the Continental Classic? Frank Martos.
Yeah, we already mentioned that. It's going to be Frank Martos. It's going to be Juice Robinson. I think Juice will probably get fewer wins. I think Juice might get the donut.
Maybe.
He might get 0. Frank Martos is going to get at least 1.
Yeah, he'll get 1 win.
He'll get 1.
Ty Moore here says, been about a full calendar year of AEW doing the monthly pay-per-view schedule as opposed to quarterly. How do you think things have been with them doing a pay-per-view a month? Do you prefer it this way or the 4 pay-per-views a year way?
Oh, I like more the better as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like if they only had Dynamite as their programming, then maybe a consideration we made for like 6 a year. But, dude, there's such a standard set with like, you got your weekly television, just do the monthly or, 10 times a year pay-per-views.
10 a year, whatever that is.
I think that's fine.
Luis here says, should AEW incorporate more faction warfare, and who would you want to see in a new faction?
New faction. Oh, man. Well, I already mentioned I want Cole and O'Reilly to be part of the Undisputed Kingdom. Is Cole part of the Undisputed Kingdom?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah, he's Kingdom.
Him, Roderick Strong, Taven, and Bennett, they're like a group together?
Yeah.
Are they?
Have you not been paying attention to AEW programming?
Not really, no. Kyle O'Reilly's not, though.
He's conglomeration. He's got to be conglomeration.
Because I remember when Cole was, but ever since he came back, has he been like part of them?
Yeah.
He has been?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It's all about the boom.
That's the feud you really want. Costco guys versus Undisputed Kingdom.
Costco guys join Undisputed Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because then they can merge the songs, the Adam Cole song and then the Costco guys song.
Yeah.
John Hosey has a SmackDown question. Because John Hosey is like our Bruno.
Yeah.
We're going to answer this one. Could Johnny Gargano, John, secretly be playing the Motor City Machine Guns, and he's really in cahoots with Ciampa for them to win the tag titles? I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping for, because every time I see Gargano, I'm like, you need to super kick them little dudes. Join Ciampa.
Well,
be bad, Johnny Gargano.
You don't have to join Ciampa.
Stay with Ciampa.
Turning heel, gotcha.
I mean, philosophically, be bad guy.
Yeah.
The way Johnny Gargano with Ciampa, that's what you do.
That's all I got. I got a casting question, but I know you don't like that. So.
I hate casting questions. Who's asking it?
Creamy Beef Tips.
I like that name. Fine.
AEW versus WWE pay-per-view. That's a whole card. That's a lot.
Cast it? That's not a casting. That's a
effectively it's a casting question. Cast people in matches in a cross-promotional show.
Oh, that's different. If he had said cast the
Costco guys using WWE superstars.
That's a casting question.
Yeah.
This is a fantasy book question. That's like a question for a whole ass video.
Yeah, I know.
AEW versus
Have we done that
WWE.
before? We've done that before.
Roman versus Big Boom AJ.
All right, done.
Jey Uso versus Big Justice. The Rizzler versus Seth freaking Rollins.
See?
CM Punk versus Jack Perry.
There you go.
Holy shit, this card is amazing.
Steve, that's a show of the year contender right there.
That
Steve.
show gets 5 booms. I got some more questions here.
That's all I got.
Jude Masura says, do you think there is more involved with Paul Heyman's attire? So everybody's mentioning Paul Heyman as he's dressed like, so I think that's just a troll, right?
It could be.
I think you can be so obvious about that one.
Yeah, if he were to turn on OG Bloodline to side with Bad Bloodline and just dress like Solo, but why would he side with Bad
Didn't
Bloodline?
you notice that I was wearing, like they put him through a whole table?
Yeah, they shield triple team powerbomb him through the announce table. I don't know why he joined.
That wouldn't make any sense. He was doing that to troll Solo. Let's see here. Should AJ Otani says, should Willow be the team AEW answer to Marina Shafir?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be like a team AEW.
I mean,
but
it kind of is.
Have them do a thing, sure. Let's see here. Oh, Dave Matushek also this is a SmackDown one. We'll end on this one, though. He says, with Jade out injured, who do you think should be her replacement for War Games?
I'll be Bailey.
It's going to be Bailey. And we're going to get
Bayley.
the story that we wanted, Larson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy about that. Cool. Anyways.
Apparently Jade is actually injured.
Apparently she's actually injured.
It's a bummer.
I read that. Yeah, that is a bummer. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.